Dreams fulfilling, new dreams and world events. Greetings, I trust you are well. I have been meaning to write this and send this video out now for the past 2 weeks, but each time, it is as if something is holding me back from writing. As mentioned in the previous videos, I do not script my videos, they are never edited, what is written comes to me during the initial writing and creating of this series. I have a vague idea what to write. Prior to writing I get what I call data streams. I cannot explain this phenomena, it is as if I am hearing a recording. As if I am downloading data, it comes to me in my own voice, on a data reel. This stream or data that comes to me is what goes into these videos. The data stream comes from praying and usually comes to me at the most bizarre times. I have been very apprehensive about writing this here because there are so many things connecting now. So many things fulfilling that trying to piece them all together in one video is impossible, and I do not know how long it will take to produce all these videos, nor how long to write what I am about to write, because it is no scripted. I also did not want to create the channel mentioning what everyone already knows about issues taking place in the country. I could write about a lot of things, but I really want to keep the channel around the dreams, visions, world events and how they are playing out. I cannot force dreams or what is shown to me. It would be highly dishonest of me to write for the sake of writing. I only will write when something is revealed in a dream, when a dream is fulfilling or something major happening around Sina van Rensburg's visions and warnings. So the first thing to mention is a number of dreams fulfilling. The first and most recent one being food shortages, which will result in a global food famine. The dream was explicit in April 2021, when you see wheat and sugar prices rise, get ready for the coming global food famine. Sugar and wheat are making all-time highs at the moment. The dream was very, very explicit. When you see those two products increase in price, get prepared. I saw hundreds of millions of people face famine and starvation. In excess of 750 million. The other very interesting fulfilling dream is Pakistan. We see Pakistan now getting involved in Libya. I told you they would eventually amass with a very large army in Libya. That army will head south into Africa. More will be discussed later in this series about how I see that playing out. I have in the meantime had 3 more message dreams over the past few weeks, which I listed as comments in the last video on the channel. The first one I had was of the EFF. I see a bakkie driving on a highway, a single cab bakkie. In the cab sitting next to each other are 3 EFF supporters. Floyd Shivambu is on the far right passenger seat, in the middle is an EFF member with his hat on with his glasses, and then the driver. I see they are all talking in the vehicle, and then I notice, the one in the middle with the glasses on, his hat begins to develop horns. Horns come out of his hat, slowly they begin to form. They are like mushrooms. Not large horns like you see in the movies, but the tips of his beret begin to form horns, and I watch them grow out, and as they grow out they begin to solidify. The position of this person sitting in the middle. The driving of the vehicle speeding up as these horns form, and the entire dream point me to believe that a faction within the party will become more militaristic. It will begin to become hardened and things will speed up, represented by the driver driving faster as these horns develop. The French dream. I had this dream twice in a row. The first night I had the dream it was not clear. I see a woman giving an interview in France but could not make out anything from the dream. The next night, I had the same dream. This time, I see before me a room, a glass room with a table in front of it. A man interviewing a woman. I see the man clearly. Across from him is what looks like Marine Le Pen from France. I see her hair perfectly but can't see her face, it is a little blurry. The room is set up like an interview room. There is a table, the man sits at the head of the table on my left-hand side in this glass conference-looking room within a room. On the right of me but to the left of this man she sits there talking. This is a very serious discussion going on in this room, it is being recorded like some news interview. It is light up, the outer room is dark, it is only the conference room which is lit up. I see they are talking, but I am not in the conference room. I am looking in from the outside, but then I am transported into the room and I hear her say to the man, "Europe is dead. This is not the Europe we know." She is going to say something on TV in an upcoming interview that Europe is no longer the Europe Europeans know. Her words are going to resonate and touch all the people of Europe. I see the whole of Europe erupt and rally for France. Her words are going to cause a sweeping up of populists in Europe. I saw the entire European continent support her and her words, but I did not see Britain. Britain was silent. I will come back to this later on in this video, providing insights about why and what is about to happen in Europe. The other dream I had, I was at a train station in the UK. It was late at night. I see a group of men, middle-aged men, get off the train, and I see people watching these men from their windows. People were scared watching these groups of men who would cause chaos and vandalize things in the country at night, and there would not be enough police on the ground to stop this. This is the pent-up frustration in the country. It will not be in one single location. This is going to spread throughout their lands. It will not stop. It has to be tied into the grass catching a light, and also their rights being removed. So those are the three message dreams. Now to discuss world events and where I see this all tying together. This is the part that worries me, because I do not know how long it will take to write this, tie in the seer's words and visions, along with my own dreams and tying them in with world events. Let's start now recently with the Israel-Palestine conflict. That seems to have stopped, but the ball is rolling. What that conflict did was stir the Islamic world. Turkey called for an alliance of Islamic countries. We saw Pakistan, Iran, Egypt, Jordan, and just about every Islamic country join in. Turkey even spoke about putting together a ground force of Pakistani troops and putting boots on the ground in Gaza. You will notice this all picked up, the virus being released to stop what was inevitable. The Turks are now tired. They have not been given access and joined the European Union. Just prior to the first lockdowns, they were pushing migrants from Turkey into Greece, and the yellow vests in France were picking up. Then the virus hit, and this is where we are still at 14 going on 15 months later. I am concerned about South Africa going into lockdown again. I said under the cover of darkness when I saw troops, soldiers being moved around. Nothing has changed. We are still in the same situation, but it is possibly worse because people have become complacent, thinking this is all normal. This is the danger signal. Eskom not producing electricity, lockdowns. Something is up, and I do not have a good feeling about it. I rather be cautious than be a frog in boiling water. There is the major rift in our politics in South Africa. Ace is gone, Zuma still lurks, but they are not gone. Remember, Zuma has the most money in South Africa. Zuma in reality has more money than Cyril, and he was behind the intelligence in the ANC arm wing. He has Muammar Gaddafi from Libya's billions, around $12 billion of cash. Enough money for his own internal army should he wish to use it for that. Even if nothing happens, the split has occurred. This fulfills my 2015 vision I had in December. The split came by God for us. I saw clearly in that vision America was behind the new South Africa. I saw how God had blinded him to the internal. The deep internal differences among the tribes of South Africa. I saw how the agreement behind closed doors was that first Xhosa would rule and then the Zulu. This is why Zuma threw Mbeki out. I saw that this happened because the Zulu was promised to be the second ruler, second president of South Africa, but this is not how it all happened. I was shown the first government of Mandela and F.W. de Klerk was for the world and was not a real government in terms of their agreement of who would rule. I hope this makes sense. It's difficult to explain. There was two agreements. There was the international agreement, then there was the internal agreement. This is where the conflict arose. The international agreement was organized by America. This is where they made a mistake by not understanding the difference, the deep differences between the black tribes in South Africa. The ANC agreement went something like this: Xhosa to rule, then a Zulu, and then moving on to the different tribes. The Americans putting a black leader on the world stage with a white leader was to signal more to the US and the rest of the world that if these two people, black and white, could make it work in South Africa, then it could work throughout the rest of the world. But this is not how the Zulu saw it. They saw that the first president was a Xhosa, but now remember, the first government was a coalition government and the ANC ruled with the National Party and was not a full ANC government, but this is not how the Zulu saw it. This is why Mbeki was thrown out, because he was seen as the second Xhosa ruler of South Africa. Second Xhosa government, when in reality he was the first all-outright black ANC president of South Africa. Why did this all happen? The Almighty revealed it to me that night in December, bringing me to my knees. It was God working in the background. He has his plan, man has his plans, and God's plans are God's plan. There is no man-made plan what God has decided. This again was confirmed to me in 2016. The New World Order would end in South Africa. So the crisis in South Africa begins in 1994, when the US just wanted to show the world black and white working together, not realizing the ANC had already decided which tribes would rule one after the other as a president. I hope that clarifies that. It's a little confusing, but if you sit back, think about it, and then see what is about to play out, it will make more sense. This unraveling of the war clouds building in the country. Right now we have the Indian variant on the TV screens scaring the living daylights out of everyone. Just another push to sell you on taking their poison and getting the mark of the beast. It is one step closer to the global objectives. After the Indian variant, the focus will be on South Africa. Now you know why I am hesitant to write this. Tying this in together is like typing out a small book. There are shorter book stories than what I am about to tie in here in this series. This interview in France is going to happen and ties in with the Israeli situation and the alliances of the Islamic world. We saw Morocco flooded Spain with 8,000 migrants earlier in this week. Chances are you never heard a thing about it in the mainstream media. This is no coincidence. The Moroccans say they did it because Spain was interfering with some general in the Sahel region, but it comes just as Turkey speaks against Israel. They tell us diversity is our strength, but the Islamic, Arab world know that Europe is conquered with diversity. They have always said they will conquer Europe with their high birth rates. This is Trojan horse now in Europe. There will be attacks in Europe now. This is where the apartheid comes to Europe dream fulfills. I mentioned more than a year back that apartheid would come to Europe, but they would not call it apartheid. I told you. People will not be able to get on public transport without showing this new form of ID, and it ties into the first video on the channel that a new religion would come to the UK and Christianity would be kicked out. Thrown out, and due to all of this, world peace is broken and the threat of Russia builds. That was in 2019. We see that all those dream visions have been fulfilled. The new religion, the religion of the virus, gives rise to apartheid coming to Europe. You have to trust in the mainstream media and science more than Christianity. Your faith in their science brings about the apartheid system which comes to Europe. The result will be the grass catching alight in England and the violence in Germany erupted. The seer spoke about man plans and God laughs. God has his own plans. Man thinks he is clever. All their science, all their fake statistics could not predict what is in store for them with their unintended consequences of playing around with fake statistics.